So welcome to a brand new webisode. It's Monday morning. What is today? The 16th? I don't even know. I've been home since Saturday, basically afternoon. I got home about a little after 12 on Saturday from the hospital, and every day I've been feeling a little bit better and a little bit better. This recovery so far has been, open heart surgery recovery isn't easy to begin with, obviously, but compared to the '09 recovery, it has been better, and that's just a byproduct of how healthy I was going into this whole thing. Again, the 9 months of a good diet and training with Danny Sawayat over at Evolution Fitness just made me healthier, stronger, and healthier. So if you compare to '09, I'm probably like a week further down the line. It probably took me like an extra week in '09 after the open heart surgery compared to this one to feel the way that I do today. It's a really weird recovery though, because all the pain is because of my sternum. I do have some pain down in my groin from where they had to do the incision because they ended up going on the bypass when they did my surgery. So it's all just pain related. You don't feel any of the internal stuff. So given how strong I am, it's just been easier to move around. It's just a matter of getting all the muscles working again and lifting and. You don't lift, but that's where the pain comes in. Lying down and sleeping, it all takes its toll. I haven't found like the perfect spot yet to sleep in at night, but I have been sleeping throughout the night for the most part, getting up a lot, but lights off, not watching TV. My sleep schedule in the hospital was bad. I mean, the only complaint I have about Northwest Medical is their selection of television channels. Oh my gosh, and especially late night. Oh, awful. But a couple things that I haven't talked to you about in regards to this whole thing, and I haven't even mentioned this. So, without going over everything again, we basically had to go in and fix what we believe was a mistake that was made in the original surgery. Somehow, some way, the graft that was put in got nicked. A hole got put into it before I was closed up. And it seems as if the previous surgeon had put this protective, as I mentioned in the other videos, protective combination of tissue and stuff that are in my chest cavity around my aorta. And perhaps it... being the graft got nicked when they were suturing that up to protect it. It's bizarre though, because if it hadn't been for the surgeon, at least my understanding, if it hadn't been for the surgeon going the extra step in the first surgery to put the extra work around keeping the aorta safe, the nick probably wouldn't have happened. But if she didn't do that, then there would have been a bigger issue. That's not making sense. Because she put that extra step in and nicked it, and ended up protecting my heart. It's like she covered for her mistake that she didn't know she was going to make. If that is indeed, that's all speculation. It's that protective cover, it seems like, that ended up sealing up that hole. So as soon as they closed my chest cavity back up, there was a very small amount of space where that blood could go. And so it basically just coagulated because my blood wasn't very thin and created this baseball-size protective shell of stuff for 3.5 years. I'm confident now, though, that everything is finally fixed in terms of that. So a couple things I haven't talked about yet. First off, I actually got a cold sore in the middle of all this. Just add insult to injury. Not a huge surprise. I've been under a lot of stress and given everything that took place. I mean, that's where they come from, but just couldn't believe it. So when they went in to fix me, they found the stuff the surgeon did. They found the hematoma, if you will, that was created from the leak, the hole. Apart from all of that, in my chest cavity, they found this little, I don't know, dime-size pile of gunk. My luck. Pile of gunk. It wasn't attached to the aorta. It wasn't near the valve. It was just in the vicinity. So the surgeon looked at it. Yeah, it's about this size. Sorry, it's a dime. The surgeon looked at it. And by the way, real quick, squirrel moment. For Christmas, Melinda got the boys these stickers that can turn everything into, it can turn inanimate objects into animated objects. So I've got this stapler that's got eyes and a mouth on it. If you can, did they put one on here? No. Oh, my printer down here has eyes and a smiley face. Then they took my Dale Earnhardt Jr. calendar, and he's got, just made me laugh. I saw it sitting over here. All right, so they found this glob of stuff, didn't know what it was. So they took it to the lab and they did tests on it. Turns out that it was, well, it is. It's Veridans streptococcus, or what you and I know as strep throat, a form of mouth strep bacteria. What it's doing there, or what it was doing there, we have no idea. Nothing else seemed to be infected. Everything else, whether it was, again, the surgeon's extra work, the valve, the aorta, the aneurysm, all that. None of that came back infected. Just this one little spot. This particular form of strep is notorious to latching on to materials such as grafts and heart valves. And if it can grab onto anything. And then what it does is it grabs on, it multiplies, the bacteria does, and then it creates this defensive outer shell. Imagine an impenetrable Las Vegas circus dome. But inside aren't cool, dated, kitschy carnival rides. It's bacteria that could kill you. So because of that, you can't go in and kill it. You have to treat your body with antibiotics so that if the bacteria sends out its minions from that protected shell, then you have your army to go there and combat it. The problem that I face is that we don't know if it's anywhere else. We don't, and more specifically in my chest, because that's the most important part. You get this on your valve or on your graft. I mean, that's big time trouble. That can infect and do damage, and and then, right. Not that I'm worried about that anymore. Like, I used to have a huge fear of flying. I'm not worried about flying at all anymore. If the good Lord on high wanted to take me out, he's had ample opportunity. Holy cow. So what I have to do is I have to take antibiotics for the rest of my life. Literally. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I understand the severity if I end up contracting this bacteria, but there's nothing I can do to change it. It is what it is. There is a big possibility too, and it is a big possibility. This particular type of bacteria, strep, is notorious for being grown accidentally in the lab. I mean, there's a good chance that my sample could have gotten tainted, which is why we don't see it anywhere else, and that particular glob of whatever wasn't anything. But because we have no way of knowing that, the only way we would know is if we gave my entire heart, chest and everything to the lab to go and run tests on, and we obviously can't do that, or else I'd be... So, I had to be on antibiotics the rest of my life. But I had to be on some really, really hardcore ones to begin with that get right at my heart. So before I left the hospital, here's show and tell. Before I left the hospital on Thursday, they came in and put a PICC line in. PICC, it stands for something. But essentially, what it is, if I can show you, see? Okay, what I have here is, this is like an IV line right here. And it's essentially it's two IV lines that are attached on one tube. This line runs from deep inside, it runs up my arm, and all the way up, and it dumps out right inside here. Basically, the medicine empties right into my heart cavity. They had to use a sonogram because they had to tap into a vein that was deep inside my arm. Really, really tricky stuff. It was not very comfortable. It didn't hurt. It's just that pressure and the idea of knowing you've got somebody that's deep inside your arm trying to thread a needle through a vein. I mean, that just alone. So I've got two lines. You know, you wonder if I were to go to, like, Amsterdam, and they were to see these, they would be like, dude, where'd you get those? That's so cool. You know. Or even just the south side of Tucson. Basically, would drug users be jealous? The cool thing is they got to do blood draws, and they can do them from these. So I have to give myself home injections through these little things. And basically, they're like, they're like, I don't know, I say Legos, but I just mean that in terms of how they lock and they're plastic. So they're screws, see? These actually come off too, but. So I screw on the syringe, okay? And then I put saline through. And then I have to put through this, the medicine comes in this, it's this big, huge syringe. It's like that big, it's a monster, it's yellow. I have to inject that into me over 3 to 5 minutes. I basically just sit there and just slowly go and inject myself. And then I put in a medication called heparin, which is it's a blood thinner. And it thins out the blood to make sure that the lines don't get clotted. And then I put the saline, and then I do the heparin at the end. It's called a heparin lock to make sure they don't get clotted. So, and I flip-flop between the two every day. So like today, they're white and pink. So today white will get the medicine and pink will get the cleaning. So, and then I got this cool sock that they gave me that I can go and sort of attach it to my, so they're not dangling from my arm. Good conversation starter though, so doesn't hurt at all. So I have to do that for 5 weeks, and then after 5 weeks they'll take this PICC line out, and then I'll just be taking oral antibiotics for the rest of my life, just preventative to make sure that if that strep pops up, that we have something in my body to attack it. So what else? I guess that's it. This has actually been a nice little example for me of how long I can last sort of in a talk setting. I'm going to be doing the show from home when I get back on the air for a couple of weeks. Got my headphones, got the mobile unit down here. I'll actually be doing it from right where I'm sitting. And the painkillers can get me through the pain part of it, but the bigger issue is just the speaking, and how long I can last in a conversation, carrying that conversation, projecting and just doing my show. So this video has been running about 14 minutes, and I'm feeling okay, but I'm tired. So considering today's Monday, I'm hoping that perhaps maybe sometime next week. I'm not slated to come back per my disability until the 30th. But we kind of were all hinting at the fact that maybe next week from home, and I'm going to be doing the show from home for quite a while, at least and probably till I can drive, because I can't drive for a couple of weeks because of my chest. So there you go. I'm feeling okay. I already missed the show, but I also know how important it is that I make sure I rest and fully recover to get back, and so I'm keeping tabs on what's going on, updating Facebook, and Twitter